Yeah, definitely.
So this study out of the University of Georgia, I have some thoughts about it, but Chris, why don't you open up and tell me what do you think of it?
I think it's a really interesting study. Most research on Twitter and politics comes at it from this big data perspective. And when you look at social media from big data, you abstract really what's going on. There's often very little context, really little understanding of what the content is. And I think what they did was they found a way to really identify, using educated people, the partisan leanings of certain tweets. So I applaud them for making sense of of hard data. Unfortunately, they used a very limited data set. I mean, in order to do real qualitative research, you have to use a pretty manageable data set, and I think that was kind of one of the drawbacks. In the end, they only looked at about 2,000 tweets, and 2,000 tweets from the perspective of, if you're trying to draw great abstractions of what, how people are using Twitter to share information, doesn't really get you far, especially when the data set's from one day in the middle of August, when we know, political discourse is often at its lowest point.
Yeah, I've just heard recently from Mark Lucky, who is the manages the journalism division over at Twitter, that Twitter puts out, or rather, the tweeters put out 1 billion tweets every 2.5 days.
Yes.
And the idea of only using 2,000 is problematic. Two things that struck me very much so as weaknesses about this piece is, number one, all the tweets come from 2010,
Mm-hmm.
which is ancient history given the
Yes.
fact that it's 2013 now.
Yeah.
And they were looking at keyword and keyword combinations, but nothing about hashtags. And
Yes.
so when they started to evaluate the followers as the means of connection, they
Mm-hmm.
completely missed the point of people following hashtag conversations and
Exactly.
seeding cross conversation that way.
Yeah, I mean, even further to that point, how they collected 5,000 tweets to start, and then they got rid of all the tweets where people didn't follow each other. So that's problematic. They basically eliminated anyone that may have just participated in the conversation on that one day. Kind of one comment about the fact that the study is almost 2.5 years old from the data perspective. That's unfortunately what we have to deal with in academia with the review cycle. So I can't really criticize them about that, but I do think that there's a lack of real understanding of what's going on based on the non-open access of studies of Twitter right now.
So your point about the publication cycles, has a personal ring to me because, when I was a professor, I made an active choice not to publish a book,
Mm-hmm.
which affected my lack of getting tenure. But I never looked back because the publication cycle on on books was like 3 years. And,
Yeah.
I was looking at books that came out in 2000, in 2000, even in 2000, that were using data from 97 and 94,
Mm-hmm.
and like this, there was only so much you could do from that in
Yeah.
terms of
Exactly.
drawing